Joining me now is Congressman Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. So you've worked with Mike Pompeo. Tell me about, your take of him as the new CIA director, assuming he's confirmed.
Well, I think Mike is a very bright guy. He's hardworking. I think he understands the agency very well. So he's a solid pick. Now, Mike can be very partisan, as you saw on the Benghazi hearings, and he'll have to set that aside. But I'm confident that he can do that, and I think he's a very capable choice. So of the three that came out today, I think he was the most solid pick.
What about Mike Flynn?
Mike Flynn, I have a lot of reservations about. This is someone who, within the intelligence community, I think, was known as kind of a bull in a china shop, someone who didn't work well with others, had a management style that was not very conducive to collaboration. So for an NSA director, where you really need someone who can bring the top national security officials together and reach a consensus on very tough issues, those aren't the character traits that you are going to look for. And they may accentuate an impulsive already president-elect with another volatile advisor in the White House. So a lot of concern about that in terms of temperament, but also on policy positions on Russia, where he similarly wants to cozy up to the Kremlin, on Turkey, where he recently wrote an op-ed that made the astounding claim vis-a-vis this cleric in Pennsylvania that if Erdogan wants him, we should turn him over because Erdogan wouldn't want him if he really was a moderate. Well, that you have to be willfully ignorant about what's going on in Turkey with a crackdown on to make that kind of a statement. So on policy as well as on temperament, a lot of profound concerns.
And there are reports now that the new team is considering whether they should revisit the Director of National Intelligence. This was a post 9/11 change, as you know, to supervise and coordinate among all of the intelligence agencies. Would that be a good idea?
I don't think it would be a good idea. It would be enormously disruptive. I think Director Clapper, as the head of the DNI, has done a good job in coordinating the work of the intelligence community and getting it to work together and making sure we break down the stovepipes. And to go through yet another massive reorganization, I think, would be a mistake. I think we're better off perfecting that agency than we are doing away with it. And I would hope that we're not going to inject that kind of instability when we're already going to have tremendous instability in this transition, unlike any other.
Congressman, turning back to the National Security Advisor designee, Mike Flynn, one of the things that he had said, tweeted, he's made some remarks about Islam. In fact, he's talked about Islam being dangerous. What is your view on that?
Well, this is probably the gravest concern that people have about Flynn, and one that I share, and that is he doesn't seem to be able to distinguish between the perversion of Islam by groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and the religion of Islam altogether. And in doing so, in a lot of his very incendiary comments, he threatens to alienate the entire Muslim world. Now, this aggravates what we already see in the president-elect, who has similarly cast aspersions on all Muslims. That is a terrible mistake, and it plays right into the jihadi narrative that this is a war of the West against Islam. So if he is going to aggravate those kind of concerns about the president-elect and amplify them, that is going to be a real problem, and that more than anything else ought to trouble people about this selection.
And finally, your fellow Californian Nancy Pelosi is now going to be challenged by Tim Ryan from Ohio. What about Leader Pelosi, and should she be chosen again as the leader?
She is the best tactician that we have. I'm sure that my GOP colleagues in Congress would love to see someone else leading the Democratic caucus because they respect just how tenacious a negotiator she is. So I want her at the helm. I think she's the most capable member of our caucus. And she also is one of the few people that can bring our disparate members together on the same page. And our only power in the minority is if we stick together. So I have every confidence she will be resoundingly reelected to that position. But I don't think we have a better tactician than Nancy Pelosi.
Adam Schiff, Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.